You remember when Trump said that Haitian immigrants are eating dogs and eating the cats in, I can't remember where it was now, in America, and everyone freaked out. They were like, no, they're not. No, he's not. That's terrible. How could you say that? Well, and Trump was right, obviously. Nigel Farage has his own version of that now. This happened today, and it's quite funny, to be honest.
If I said to you that swans were being eaten in royal parks in this country, that carp were being taken out of ponds and eaten in this country by people who come from cultures that have a different... Would you agree it's happening here?
I've certainly read... I didn't know about swans. I've read about carp. Yeah.
Right. Now, this isn't really that much of a big claim, is it, really? I mean, some foreigners decided they were going to eat some carp and some swans. Yeah, maybe. I saw one the other day of some foreigner taking a goose. And you would think, well, yeah, I mean, people in other countries have different opinions on what the wildlife is there for. For us, it's basically ornamental. We actually really like our wildlife. We try to take care of it. We don't like to see people abusing it. We certainly don't just take random animals from the wilderness and just kill them and eat them, because we're far too civilized for that. And so it began. You have the news agents. What's Trump doing? He's lying. He's copying Donald Trump by claiming migrants in the UK are stealing and eating swans from UK parks. It's a lie, but that won't stop some people from believing every word he says. Is it a lie? Why are you so determined that this must be a lie? Have you done any research whatsoever into the subject? Because one counterexample will be enough to make you the liar and Farage the person telling the truth. Why are you jumping on this? James O'Brien, furious, absolutely furious that Farage would say such a thing.
Here is what you sound like if you have absolutely no integrity. Pay attention.
In the end, there always proves to be some truth.
There proves to be some truth in it.
I'll have a tenner with you that within the next month or so we find some evidence of it.
There you go. We will find some evidence of it. That's the bet. We'll find evidence.
But you do
but
think
now,
some cats and dogs
fast forward, 12 months later.
If you can prove it, I've got my £10 ready.
Well, if you can prove it hasn't happened.
But that wasn't the bet, Nigel. The bet was that within a month evidence would emerge.
Okay, James. And then you've got the various online parody accounts of Keir Starmer, apparently, in full defence of Keir Starmer. Farage condemned for falsely accusing Eastern European migrants of eating swans from Royal Park. He's been accused of peddling wild conspiracy theories. So why are the liberal elite reacting to this in such a negative manner? Well, there are a couple of reasons. The first thing is that Farage has actually been navigating the UK media in a rather savvy way. He hasn't really been giving them the opportunity to go full bore as a phalanx against him. He's actually been quite nuanced in his messaging, and he's managed to avoid tripping any of the wires that cause them to blow up into freak-out mode. And this apparently is one of those tripwires. I can explain why in a minute. He's actually done quite a good job of corralling them into essentially accepting that Farage is going to be the next government and he's going to be the next prime minister, and get used to it. And they've kind of come to peace with it. And so they'd kind of back down because he wasn't going hard at them. He was just saying things like, look, we're going to have to do this, we're going to have to do that. It was also the sort of stuff that Keir Starmer has said, frankly. The most recent thing, though, was saying, right, I'm going to get rid of indefinite leave to remain. That put their hackles up, because obviously, oh, this is terrible, this is terrible. But the problem is the public agrees with it. People want millions of migrants to go home. Most people don't want any more migration, and about 44% of the country is completely in favour of no more remigration. So this is something that they can get wound up about, but it is a popular idea, and people do agree with it. And this is the first example of a kind of Trumpian statement that they're allowed to jump on, right? Nobody really cares either way about this subject. This isn't like a big, like this. Nigel Farage said they're eating swans. Okay. They're not eating swans. They're not eating swans. Urgh. are you okay if you say so? I mean, like, I'm not going to spend any time out of my day freaking out about this. Unlike these guys, I mean, look at Emily Maitlis. She looks just truly like, oh my God. Because what this does, the real reason they're really bothered about this, is Farage has accidentally attacked one of the sacred liberal cows, which is every single person who has come to this country since 1997 and before is actually a dyed-in-the-wool Middle England British liberal. And they hold exactly the same opinions as every other right-thinking person in Britain. They are exactly the same as us in every way, shape or form. And if you say, well, actually, a bunch of them will just get random animals, kill them and eat them, because that's the kind of thing they do in their countries, like some sort of bushman from Africa or something, they freak out because they're like, well, no, everyone's all the same. They're all just like me, in fact. They all have the same manners and decorum as Emily Maitlis. And if you attack that, what you're saying is, well, actually, a lot of these people are different, and they don't share our values, they're not going to fit into the culture, and therefore, the whole premise of immigration into this country was founded on a lie. And that's way more than they're prepared to concede. So now they've got to go hell for leather. No, it is a lie, says Emily Maitlis. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's not. Like, there's tons and tons and tons of evidence to suggest that this is the case.
I'm going to get someone to check what bird this is. I think it might be a swan. I'm not sure. But do you know what a swan is, sir? You know the big white birds that you see on the park? Yeah.
That's a woman from the RSPCA.
To take a closer look at what's cooking.
You see the bones in this bird? Because it's not a chicken, I'm a bit concerned. There's a law against people taking animals off. You told them that, yeah. And it's very serious. It's very serious if that happens.
Concern.
That's the kind of thing people from other countries do. And there are obviously news reports. This one, the police have denied. They've said there's no evidence that these people ate this swan. I guess they just picked it up and took it away and didn't eat it. Who knows what they did with this one. And then you've got this one over here.
Taking it.
Just taking the swan. The elites don't want you to know this, but the swans at the park are free, apparently. But it is against the law to harm them, so don't, obviously. It's also cruel. But, like, there's actually tons of evidence of them taking swans specifically. And then you've got other things like ducks and geese and whatever else. Like, there's loads of evidence of it. So why are they like, oh, spokesperson for the Royal Park says there's no evidence to back this up? Because it would cast aspersions on the moral character and the difference between us and the migrants. It renders them as other, and they are other. And therefore, it attacks the very integrity of the left-wing pro-migrant, pro-immigration narrative. And so they've got to freak out about it. It doesn't matter that there are plenty of examples, like the Sun was reporting on it back in 2020. The asylum seeker steals Queen's birds for barbecues. I bet they do. I bet there's a lot of meat on a swan. I bet they're just like, well, why wouldn't I? What would be the reason not to? Because in my country, this is the kind of thing that we do. And it probably is. And so the people like Lee here are just like, I don't understand. Why are they having a meltdown about Farage saying there are migrants eating swans when we appear to have evidence that it's actually happened? To say it's a total lie is clearly a lie. And he's right. Why are they freaking out? Well, like I said, this actually goes to the very heart of the multicultural project. The very heart of it is fundamentally that they think all of the cultures at rock bottom, at the very base, are tolerant and liberal and inclusive and accepting and will follow the rules as we have them laid out. Why we would think this, I have no idea, because of course that's not going to be the case. Obviously that's not going to be the case. Obviously, some guys from like sub-Saharan Africa or deepest, darkest Asia don't hold Emily Maitlis's views, or the sort of dinner table etiquette that Emily Maitlis holds. And if that's true, then all of it is cast into doubt. The whole thing is undermined. And you're like, well, okay, if they don't hold the views on the swans, what do they hold views on about other things? What about young girls going to school? Is it a problem that we put random, unvetted men in hotels near schools and they keep actually raping the kids? Like, what? But that must be them just... You're just a racist. This surely can't be, because these people have deeply different and conflicting moral values to our own, can it? And that's what the Swans expose. Yes, they do. These men are, by many standards, really bad people with really bad values, and they are actually reflective of their entire cultures. They have no prescription on hunting animals in their area. So if they see a swan there, they're like, I can just go get that. For some reason, that swan isn't running away from me. The animals in my country probably run away from me, but that one isn't for some reason, and I'm hungry. So I'm going to get it, I'm going to cook it, I'm going to eat it. And honestly, like, it's not even that they're weird. What's weird is that we're weird. We have strange standards for our animals. We really care about animals. We have really high standards when it comes to the ethics of how to deal with animals, and we're really caring about the animals that live in our country. This is not normal. Most of the world is not like this. Most of the world just eats animals. They just see them as food and will just eat them if they can catch them. They don't understand that all of England is basically a garden. Like, it's basically, we view the entire country as an extension of our own back gardens, and so we don't just go and eat all of the animals, because we have a small country that has been, for 1,000+ years, the collective patrimony of our people, and so we have been able to cultivate it and make sure that the wildlife is all completely as like, it's, again, ornamental for us. Whereas in other parts of the world, well, their countries are dangerous places. They've got wild animals that can hurt them, and they, a lot of the time, need to actually source their food from the wild. So they have no compunction about doing this. And Emily Maitlis, oh my God, how could he say this? I'm freaking out. This is honestly the funniest thing Trump has done. Farage has done, and it's the most Trump-like thing Farage has done yet. And he's also right. He is right that they're doing this. And what's great about it, like I said, is it exposes the liberal philosophy on immigration for the BS that it is.